Okay, hello everyone. I am here with my beautiful client. Her name is Kat. Hi, Kat.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you for asking me to do this.
Well, you and I just worked together
Mhm.
for 15 minutes, maybe 10.
I think it was more like 20.
We went into a time warp. Was it 20? It felt like 10 or 15. But I wanted to ask you what that experience was like.
Yeah.
Because I came and I was like, hey, I want to try this technique on you. Do you have anything going on? And you said, I'm a little nervous for the recording that we're going to do. So your nervousness was at a 7. And now we're recording. And where's your nervousness at?
Oh gosh. I want to say like a 0 or 1.
Okay.
If that's any testament to what 20 minutes can do, just being mindful.
Yeah. Okay. So what was that experience like?
Just it was very simple, just sitting with the emotion and letting it do its thing and accepting it and watching it happen and looking at it, like you said, when you were doing it, looking at it, how you would look at a child telling a story and just looking at them like, oh, that's a funny story. Being more entertained by your thoughts more than anything, as opposed to pushing them aside or trying to force the opposite of it, which was really powerful and fun.
Nice. Okay. So if I would have just told you, okay, Kat, feel your emotions. To feel is to heal. Would you have had the same result?
No, probably not.
Okay. So what do you know now that is beyond just feel to heal? What are those secrets?
I would say more move the feeling to heal, because we don't just want it stuck in one place. Just want to sit there if you're to describe nervousness, it's like shaky and jittery. And if you're just sitting in that, that's not uncomfortable. You want to work with it and move through it and, in your words, digest it. And I think that's how you heal it, is you let it run its course and you don't just force it to stay in one spot or pretend it's not there, which is also forcing it just very deep down. So really asking where the feeling comes from and then letting that pain or emotion move through you.
Yeah, beautiful. So this is what I want people to learn. And I'm going to be doing a webinar on this on December 20th, 2020. So 12/20/2020. And the webinar is going to be called, hang on, I just came up with the title, you guys, because I was like, what are we really doing? This webinar is going to be amazing. It's called Transforming Your Struggle into Bliss, Emotional Alchemy 101. So I'm going to teach you guys this technique that Kat just did in 20 minutes to completely shift herself. I'm going to be teaching you it in depth. And what it does is it helps you not only no longer traumatize yourself, because we actually traumatize ourselves constantly, even with positive emotion, but that's another story to get into. We are constantly traumatizing ourselves, but when you learn this technique, you actually take it into your daily life and you stop traumatizing yourself, because you learn the art of consciousness in allowing yourself to fully experience every emotion, every moment, and every story without compounding it or emphasizing it or letting it get stuck within you. So you guys, there will be a link to sign up for that webinar on December 2020. It's going to be a 90-minute webinar with over an hour of actual guided healing for everybody.
Well, I'll be there because I'm always there.
You'll be there. I know you will, girl. And you got a little jump on it now because we did a little bit of the prep work. Okay, so I've got some questions written down for you, but we're going to kind of free flow with this, because this is not an endorsement. This is a revealing, because a lot of people have not done coaching, they've not done spiritual work or transformational work. And we're here to show you from the client side and from the practitioner side what goes on, so you can get more comfortable and kind of understand the benefits and what you can get out of this. So, Miss Kat, I have questions for you, and then we'll just kind of go back and forth and you can share what you want to share.
Yeah, perfect.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, why did you first call me?
Yes. Okay. I'm so happy you asked this question. I am very passionate. You don't know this, but in my everyday life, I love telling this story to people when I tell them you need a coach. And this is the perfect topic for me to talk on because I'm so passionate about people having a coach or having someone rooting for you. And so I first called you because I was experiencing my first heartbreak when I had just turned 21 years old back in. Yes, I'm so happy. Of all the people you see, you're like, oh, I remember this session from a long time ago, and you'll bring up the details, and I'm just like, wow, even I don't remember that. So I was going through heartbreak. I did not know who you were, and I was just searching and searching for answers. And what I thought was heartbreak was what I was experiencing, but it was really just a catalyst to everything deeper within me because I was also undergoing, depression or symptoms of depression and just other traumas that I was dealing with. But heartbreak was what I was focusing on my energy on. And I was typing into YouTube. I think I typed in, I'm trying to remember, like universe or something, and one of your videos came up. And I don't remember which video it was, but because I watched a series of them right in a row. And at the end of one, you were like, oh, book with me, link in the description. And I texted my mom and I was like, Mom, can I have however much money it costs? Can you please send, I need to talk to this person. And she was like, yeah, if you think she can help you, like, absolutely go for it. So thank you, Mom. She funds a lot of my sessions, actually. Yes, she's the best. And so I emailed you, and it was nice. I mean, it's nice that you have a smaller channel, and of course I would love to get that message out to a lot more people, but it felt like you got back to me so quickly, and it wasn't just like it got lost in a bunch of other emails and things. And so that was really nice because it's hard to find a spiritual coach on YouTube who doesn't have hundreds of thousands of subscribers and will actually listen and respond to you. So yeah, you got back to me and then we had a session, I think 5 or so days later, because it was all I could think about. I was like, I just want to heal. I just don't want to feel this way anymore. And yeah, so that was what made me find you, was the heartbreak. But I realized we were meant to do so much more in that session, and we tackled something way bigger than a boy, So yeah,
It went a lot deeper.
Absolutely. And when I think back on him, and he was an amazing person, but I think back so positively on him because I truly don't think I'd be who I am today if he hadn't broken up with me and then led me to find you truly. I'm like, oh, all thanks to you. Like, it happened how it's supposed to happen,
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I never heard you really tell the story, so that was cool for me.
Yeah, I don't think I told you.
Okay, so what you said leads me to a question I keep forgetting to ask people. So this is going to be on YouTube. In the comments below, will everyone please tell me, what are you Googling when you're looking for help, when you're looking for spiritual help, when you're looking for coaching and transformation? You typed in universe.
Yeah, something like that.
When I was searching for things, it was hard for me when I was on a quest to find coaching and help. It was really hard for me to know what to look up. So if everyone has tips so that I can link my videos to those keywords, then people can find me, because if they can't find me, then SOL. So what else did you look up, Kat, other than universe? What do you look up when you're looking for spiritual guidance and healing?
Yeah. And I do want to say too, I don't even know if I knew I was looking for a coach. I was looking for just a video to help me. And I got obviously so much more out of it after I was like hooked on your videos and just had to watch more. So besides that, when I need some help, I guess I just mostly like go back to your channel and we'll scroll through your videos and usually find one that fits. There's like one video I always watch, and every time I watch it, I feel better. um, and, but I guess besides that, if I'm not intentionally looking for your video, when I'm looking for guidance and
Yeah.
something, I will, I'll usually type in, well, on like lately I've been on this kick of looking up frequencies. So like a 963 frequency or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's been really helping. There's one that I love that I think it's 432. And I just like, ooh, can like let it all out and chill. Or I'll type in guided meditation for blank a lot too. Those
Awesome.
are
I like that. Okay, thank you. That's for my notes. Sorry guys. We'll get on we'll get on with the video. Okay. So the reason you contacted me before was to get over that boy. And then we went deeper. So what about now? Now that you've done quite a bit of coaching, you've done healing work. Are you 23 or 24 now?
I'm 23.
You're 23. You're an esthetician.
About to be.
You're about to be an esthetician. You've been a flight attendant, and that still may be in your future again. And you've done all this healing work. You're ahead of the curve. You're further ahead than where I was at your age. So why do you do coaching?
That's an interesting question. There are a multitude of reasons I do coaching. I think the two main reasons are either healing, reflecting back on the past, or looking forward. So, and I don't always think that's healing, but sometimes I'm just like, ooh, I would really love to set my sights on this goal. How can you help me get there? And a lot of times, that involves the limiting beliefs from the past, of course, but like things I'm passionate about, I want to help heal other people, or I desperately want to be a polyglot someday. And so I like look to you for coaching with that. And then also I think part of it is just, it feels nice to have that person that you trust, because I do believe I could do a lot of this on my own, but why should I? If I can we're tribal humans. We need contact with each other. And sometimes I think I do need to do it on my own. I need to be like, put your phone down, like don't call Larissa and like all freaking out. You like just like use the tools that she gave you. And I mean, that's so valuable too. And in a way, I'm still using you. But yeah, at other times I'm just like, I don't want to feel this alone. And you're one of the best people I can talk to who will validate me and help me through it. And I also know that I'm going to get that other perspective every single time that I didn't even consider. That, I have these two options I'm looking at, and you're like, oh, here's a third one. Did you know that? I'm like, oh, cool.
I love that you brought up tribal, because I actually had that in my notes, how tribal having a coach, a healer is. And that is our natural state, to have someone to go to who is educated in these areas. It's different when you go to your friend and you're like, oh, this boy's annoying me, or this and this is happening. You're pretty much going to get a friend's response, which is, oh my God, I can't believe he did that to you, or fuck him, or something like that. But when you go to a coach, you're saying, I don't just want to complain about my problem. I don't just want to be validated at the level of my ego. I want to be validated at the level of my soul. Bring those truths to me and show me how I can heal and transform and become a more powerful woman. I work with a lot of men too, but a more powerful woman in this circumstance. So I love that you brought up tribal, because people think, oh gosh, having a coach or having someone to talk to is just so kind of like unique and strange, but it actually is part of our true nature as human beings, to have the medicine woman or the medicine man to go to, so we don't get stuck.
I completely agree. And looking at all of the communities, ancient communities, and even ones now, there would be children who from an early age would show signs of, being clairvoyant or clairaudient or whatever. And they would say, oh, you're the next healer of our tribe. This is a gift and you're going to help guide us. Even, the story of Santa Claus is based off of a shaman in Finland who would come and he would consume like psychedelics or medicinal herbs, and he would share his wisdom with the community. And we're just so lacking that in this society, which is so disappointing because it's like who we are. We need the medicine. Those medicine people are just as important as your doctor, your plumber, your whatever.
Absolutely. It's a sign of how much we've kind of rejected the spiritual, emotional parts of ourselves when we say, oh, I don't need any support in that area.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you don't need to be doing your own plumbing. And it's not to say you don't need to be doing your own spiritual work. You do. But that guidance when you want to up level your life, or when you're done really struggling with that same pattern over and over again. I know so many people, and I'm thinking of a lot of family members who just stay in the struggle, and they stay in the struggle, and they stay in the struggle. And I'm like, give me one session, give me 2 sessions, and we're going to work that out, and we're going to shake it out, and you're going to have a different experience in your life.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying, give me 1 session, give me 2 sessions, because that's what I tell my friends and family when I'm referring them to you, or referring them to find someone else if, that resonates more with them, because I had years of just crap that I was carrying, as most of us do. It's not unique. And I didn't think there was any hope for me. I remember being at rock bottom and experiencing all of that. And then we had 90 minutes together in 2018, and all that was like gone so fast. And I didn't know that that was possible. I had been told many times, oh, mental illness, you're going to deal with it forever. You're going to have it forever. Just accept it. Try to work with it. And then I meet you, and I think you were the first person to tell me anything different. Or I don't even know if you told me different. I think you were just like, let's just jump in and go.
Let's tackle it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why do you think, Kat, that people, it's going to sound crazy, but why do you think people elect for suffering over doing the work?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't sound crazy because it's so common. Have you seen Game of Thrones?
I've seen like episodes of each season. So
Okay.
I have a grasp on the energetics of it.
So when I'm asked questions like this, I always think there's an episode where a character like frees all these slaves, but they don't want to be freed because they don't know anything else. They don't know any other way of life.
Is it Daenerys?
Yes.
Okay.
And she says people learn to love their chains. And I think that they find comfort in those chains, and specifically, people know how to relate to each other if 2 people are experiencing the same trauma. And that's sometimes frustrating because I mean, I'll look at my friend who's in this toxic relationship with this guy, but she stays with him because their dads both died at the same time. And that bonded them together. And I think, oh, it was great they had each other, but now that's kind of all they have is this terrible trauma between the 2 of them, And so I wonder, could they relate to each other if they didn't have that experience? And I think that's so common with so many people, where they identify with their depression. That's a common one. It could be anything, but they identify with the depression, and that's how they can relate to someone else, which is such a lie. If only
that is such a good point. You're just the perfect person to interview because you're so eloquent, and you've been through this. So you know all these points to bring up. I've literally points I've written down, you've already brought up. So I'm really happy.
Same wave.
Yeah, same wave, girl. But the thing about relating through suffering, a lot of people aren't doing it consciously, they're doing it unconsciously. So some unconscious part of them very strongly said, I need to be sick, or I need to be depressed, or I need to have a low income in order to resonate with my family. And I see it in a lot of families. Breaking those family cycles is a big deal, because when you're breaking through those cycles, you're not only breaking it for yourself, you're breaking it for the bloodline and the generations forward. And I see that with a lot of people who are light workers and little light beings and star seeds like yourself, Kat, is they come in and they go through incredible darkness because they're not only breaking through their stuff, they're breaking through ancestral stuff and family stuff. And I work with, I would say 70% of my clientele are those people. And the reason they come to me is they hit rock bottom because no one can deal with that stuff by themselves. You can't deal with 10 people's garbage from your family. You can't transmute that stuff. Well, maybe you can, but it's very, very challenging to do it on your own. So I think it's really powerful if people take a look at their family dynamics and see, where am I bonded? Am I bonded in complaining? Am I bonded in depression? Am I bonded in anxiety? Am I bonded in not being able to up level? So that sort of like lack consciousness, is that keeping us connected? Oh, I couldn't go do this. Oh, me either. Oh, I had this bad day. Oh, me too. Oh, I have this pain in my hip. Oh, I have this pain in my back. Like, that way, we human beings need connection more than anything.
Yeah.
And we will do anything, and we will compromise our level of joy and our level of success to have that connection unless we see the pattern and clear it.
Yeah, for sure. And even going back to what you said a second ago about, oh, maybe you can transmute it on your own. And I think, yeah, a bunch of people can. And that takes me back to my original point. Why should you? Because you have people in support. You don't have to do it alone, even if you can. I mean, why not make it easier? And it feels so much more nourishing when someone is there saying, and you say this to me all the time, like, this must suck. This must feel crappy. This must feel, you're constantly like, this is how it feels. And I'm like, yes, it does. Thank you. You nailed it. And then it just feels good that I have that validation in someone.
That the cool thing, so you guys know I get guidance. And while Kat was talking, they were saying, when you have a coach who's looking out for you, when you have a healer to talk to, you get to start resonating with them on their frequency. Like you were talking about, oh yes, this is how I feel on my insides, and you're validating it. You get to connect, and then you don't have a life or death need to connect with people who are on a lower frequency.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because who would you rather connect with? Right? Someone who's going to take you to that higher level, or someone who's going to keep you there, whether that's intentional or not.
Yeah. Yeah. And families generally mean the best. They're well meaning. It's just a lot of people in the previous generations were not taught to be conscious. And even now, they're not taught to be conscious. So if you're a conscious person in this world, you are going to need someone that's going to call forth your truth and your consciousness and say, you're feeling this, aren't you? And you get to go, oh, I felt crazy, but yeah, this is how I really feel on the inside.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely. And something was just coming to mind as well. The Christian concept of original sin. I know you're aware of it, but for people who don't know, it's often used to say that we're born in this state of, like, we have this tendency to be sinful and deceitful or whatever, no matter what. Well, I heard someone take that term and like spin it in a different way and say we're born into original sin because we are brought into families that are imperfect. We have this bloodline that we need to clear that we're unfortunately born into, but it's not that we are the sin or we are going to do bad unto others or do evil. It's the fact that we're born into imperfect situations, but we can clear that. It's not going to stay that way forever.
I love that.
Yeah, I love that too. And it makes you think too of the hero's journey, like, oh, I was born into this bloodline so I can clear it. Like, heck yeah, I'm down for that.
Yes. I think we're original divinity because that's how we are. We just come in good. We're so good as babies. We know we're good. We cry for what we want because we're like, I know I deserve it. I don't care if it's 3 a.m. Like, I'm good. And I deserve to be filled up.
Mm-hmm. Even in the womb, babies, will tell you if they're unhappy. You know, if you lay a certain way, they go crazy, like, no, I don't like this. Sorry, you got to move for me. Or they, might reject some food, or they're like, I don't like that,
Yeah. And they're in their truth. They're just in their truth. They're not caught up in story yet. Oh, I can't say that or I won't get love, or I can't do that or I won't get love. They haven't been traumatized by experiences in their childhood that they couldn't digest or process, which is what the webinar is going to be about, is digesting and processing old wounds and old stuff. So it literally transmutes, moves through you entirely. This is an ancient tantric practice, and digests and turns into a beneficial, useful energy. So we are turning toxins into like matcha, right? Because it's going to go in and it's going to fuel you.
Yes, I love that. That's beautiful. We're like trees. You know how trees like purify water and soil and things like that? We're just like the filter. We're going to make it beautiful.
And the only bad thing that can ever really happen in nature to nature is stagnation. When things stagnate, they become toxic. And it's the same with human beings. When we stagnate, even in our own self-identity, I'm this person, I like this, I do this, I don't do this. This is how things go for me. This is how these things work out for me. This is my relationship with my mom. When we stay in that, that is called living in ego.
Yeah.
And that means we've stagnated, because we are really these effortless, moving beings who are observing everything, not identifying with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you experienced that right before we hopped on the call. You experienced what it was like to not be the nervousness anymore, not be the stories. And can I share some of the stories you had around the nervousness?
Yeah, go for it.
You thought like your voice was annoying and that you didn't have that smooth way of speaking, and you used too many filler words. You had that as an identity. That's ego saying, I'm that. And then you went into observation and you just dropped back into your true self, where the little babies are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think, had I not gone into observation with you, the only option is to say, oh, this is so intense for me that I'm just not going to do the live. I'm not going to spread this message to other people. Or, that can be in any other situation. Either you transmute it, you observe it, or it might stop you from doing something that is really beneficial to the world. And so, yeah, what's the better option here?
Yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
Okay, I keep losing my pen.
Oh, I have
Losing
my
it.
I'll throw it over there.
I love your magic. I do. Okay. A quick question.
Yeah.
What kind of an edge does having a coach give you? And guys, I'm not selling myself. I'm not selling anyone. I'm just offering you insight. It's like when someone introduces you to a superfood, it's like, you haven't ever had this in your diet. Here's what you can expect if you bring it into your diet. So you personally, Kat, what edge in your life does having a coach give you?
Yeah. So, I mean, you're not selling yourself here, but like, I'm going to go ahead and sell you because I want to. But even just what you were saying a second ago about living in ego, there are times where times all the time where I am and I don't realize it. And that's the edge, is seeing those things that I was so blind to. And then once I'm made aware of it, I guess awareness is the edge, because how unaware are we of our magic and things like that. And I'd say our most powerful session for me was about a month ago, when I decided I was no longer going to be vegan. And oh my goodness, that was my identity for 12 years. And I've always been preaching, like, don't box yourself in, don't say you're this or that, sit in that label. But I was doing it the entire time, and I didn't even notice. And I thought I was on this like pedestal for being a vegan too. And now I'm exiting from that label and I'm moving into something new. And I think that is the most powerful thing, is just being made aware. Yeah. Because it's funny.
I remember doing that session and I could feel the fear, the anxiety, the insecurity that comes up when you're transitioning from this is who I am, this is what I believe in, I think you should believe in it too, to actually, I've changed my mind and this is what works for me now. You had to embody a lot of humility
Oh, thank
to
you.
do that.
Thank you. That's
Yeah, I was really impressed. And you're an Aries, you're a little fire sign. So you do move through things quickly, which works really well for me. I'm a Leo and I've got tons of fire in my chart too. So I will tell you guys, I am incredibly patient, but I am a fire. I light a fire in people. And I work really well with other people who are like ready to move it, ready to do it. And Kat's one of those people.
Thank you. I feel that for sure because sometimes I'm just in this feeling and I'm just like, oh, I can't handle this. Like I need to call Larissa. Like I need to not feel this way like now.
Mm-hmm.
To move through it. And now that's not always the case. That's not always what is going to happen, and that's okay. But we do move through a big chunk of it. I mean, even just the other day, I was speaking to a vegan and I was like bummed that I couldn't say I'm also vegan or like relate to this person. But I was like, no, it's okay. I'm just moving to something bigger. I'm making a bigger connection elsewhere. And that's okay. You know, you're not gonna, it's okay if you don't clear it right away. You can move through it. But it is fun to tackle. I mean, it's fun for me. I don't know if it's fun for everyone to face their traumas head on, but there's a sense of going into battle, like, yes, put me in. I'm ready for this. Like front lines, you know, there's an excitement there.
Yeah. So would you say that having a coach and doing this work gives you an edge in you can kind of more rapidly move through things?
Yeah, I would say so. Mm-hmm.
And does it support you? These are just questions that I think are true, but I want to check in with someone on the other side. Does it help support you and bolster you in being your true self?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because how can we be our true selves if we're scared of what will this person think? What about this time when this happened? You know, things that hold us back. And I think that's going to be a long journey for a lot of people. I mean, I'm still on that journey of fully accepting and embracing and being my true self. But I'm seeing, and I think it's all in divine timing, that when the blocks come up, that's when I face, you know, they always come up. And then I face it as I feel them. So
Mm-hmm.
that's really nice where I'm like, you know, making progress. Okay, cool. This part of my life just opened up for me. Oh, but there's this other part I need to give attention to. So yeah, absolutely.
So we've been working together for 2 years.
Yeah.
How much has your ability to transmute your own stuff and to be your own healer improved in that time?
Oh, big time. And I was actually going to add that to your question too, was it's quicker to move through things now because I do a little preliminary work first and sit with myself and prepare myself. And it's almost like homework where I try to prepare for your session and I have a little journal and I write down my thoughts and feelings. And it feels weird talking to you and not having that journal in front of me actually, because I always have it.
I
But
know sometimes I have to tell you to put it down, like put down the journal,
hold
breathe.
on, write that thought down. So I was thinking, I was like, I feel naked right now. I need my journal, but no, I don't. Not right now. So yes. And also it feels good to be able to have that intense emotions and being like, oh, it's going to be fine. I got this. I can do this. Where, you know, when I was 19, 18, that would knock me on my ass for weeks. And I would be just laying in bed watching Netflix. Where now I'm like, okay, I can get through my day if I take some time and do this exercise, this like mechanism you taught me, this technique or whatever. And then, you know, leading up to our session, and then we can do the big reveal, shall you say.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always think that coaching and healing work is for people who really value their time because it does accelerate things. It puts the rubber to the road. So I think that when you're doing research online, or you're reading a book, or you're looking at Instagram quotes or something like that, that's conceptualizing it. A coach and a healer is going to help you live it, is going to help you embody it, is going to help you move into it. Because I mean, I know personally for myself, when I was younger looking online, I would just like be downloading all this information and reading and getting excited, but I never really integrated the work. And then when I started working with healers and coaches, it went in, and things I had been thinking about, practices, healings I've been thinking about for years would go in 1 or 2 sessions. And all of a sudden, oh, I am that confidence. Oh, I am that freedom. Oh, I can be that productive. I'm doing it. I'm living it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about this a lot, about just taking in too much information. And that's not going to do anything for you besides just make your head kind of spin, because you're like, oh, I need to be at peace, but I also need to be present with the emotion, but I also need to feel this and that. And, there's so much information out there. And in one of your videos, you said something, you said something about like, it's better to read one book and like really take it in than like 12. And I was like, what? Whatever. I was like, no.
How dare you?
And this is before I talked to you. This isn't, I remember seeing that video and you were like, chill, like take it easy, don't try to learn everything. And I'm over here like trying to gobble up a bunch of information to feel better, but that's not going to do it for you. Like you said, you have to internalize it.
Wow. You have to gobble up information to feel better. I think that's such a pervasive thing. And that's why having a coach, whatever one you choose, gives you a massive edge. You don't have to do that anymore, because you're not going to feel like something's missing. You're going to be doing the work and feeling the transformations actually happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, would you rather pull one card and really just sit with it? Or would you rather pull, 4 or 5 and forget what they are by the end of the day?
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
Sometimes.
I think those were all my questions.
All right. We nailed them.
We nailed them. Do you have any anything you want to say, or any questions for me or anything?
Yeah. Actually, there is something that I would love to say about just healers and coaches in general. And this specifically relates to you, but growing up in the Catholic Church, I've always been skeptical of like spiritual leaders or teachers. I mean, not just spiritual teachers, but teachers in general, authority figures. And a lot of them unfortunately let us down. And I mean, there are even other people I follow on Instagram and I watch their messages. And so I'm very skeptical. And something I can say about you that I don't know if I can say it about any other spiritual person, is that you've never said something that made me feel like, oh, that feels wrong. You've said things where I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for this information or this message. That's fine. Not everything's meant for us. But there are some healers where they'll say things and I'm just like, oh, like that kind of feels like not right with me. And that's different than something just not resonating. There sometimes it's just, I guess what I want to say is you've never ever given me this like kind of gross feeling of like, oh, I feel like this person is operating
not well intended.
Yeah. And I really appreciate that. And, it's also important to, of course, understand our coaches are humans and make mistakes. But I think that's my favorite thing about you or one of my favorite things when we talk is that you'll be like, oh, I went through that too. And I'm just like, thank God, because you're like, so you're doing so well in life. And so to hear, oh, you were in this situation too, makes me feel really good about my situation and makes me understand I can get through it too. But I guess my message is for the skeptics out there. It's important to always keep your wits about you and ask, does this feel right or not? Like that's so important. Don't ever stop doing that. But I mean, Larissa, she's never, never made me question if, like you said, if where the intention is.
I really appreciate that. And for me, my intention is to help empower everyone because I just think human beings are this fantastical thing and we're using 10% of our capacity. And I just want people to feel like what it feels like when they're up to 70%, 80%, 90%, 100%. And that's not to say, you have to be doing a bunch of stuff and being a certain way. It's just to say, like, operating from this place of power, knowing you have the capacity to transform how you feel and how you view the world in any moment. And you also have the capacity to manifest whatever life you want. If you can dream it, it's part of your destiny. So my intention is always to help people get to that place of power. And I have the best intentions for people because I myself spent tens of thousands of dollars trying to heal from severe medical and emotional issues 12 years ago. I went through a 10-year battle where I lost everything. And so when I work with people, I give them my all. And I want people to feel like they are really loved and really supported and they have this space to heal.
And you definitely do that. And I think on top of that, the space to feel loved is something I really value. Is you're one of the only people where I can go to and be like, I fucked up. Like, I said this, I did this, and I feel comfortable telling you. And then you are always gentle, but you'll be honest and tell me how things are, because that's what love is. Love is honest. You're not going to just be like, you're doing great, even if I'm doing something totally destructive. And that's so important too. You don't want your person to just be an echo chamber. And so it's very loving, but it's also like, this behavior is not working. This is a better alternative or whatever. And that's what I appreciate, because I can say, if I don't know, there's so many times where I don't know it, like, am I doing something wrong? Am I doing something right? And you'll tell me every time and reassure me or redirect me or whatever. And that's what's so important, because going back to, if you're talking to a friend, your friend's just probably going to be on your side, which is nice, but that's not going to help your growth.
Yeah, that's so cool you brought that up because you bring up so many good things. The idea that a healer or a coach would ever judge anyone is befuddling to me. I got into this work so I could witness the depth of people and the abilities of people. I want the full spectrum. Tell me what you did in your past that you can't come to grips with. I've had plenty of people tell me about being sexually abused and also about sexually abusing others. I've had people talk about suicidal or homicidal thoughts, deep shame, and I honest to goodness don't have any judgment, because if someone is in front of me saying, here's my soul, I'm ready to heal, I don't care what they're transmuting, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm so touched. I have like goosebumps, because
Me
that is
too.
so I mean, no matter what it is, if you're feeling like the aggressor or the oppressed or the victim, whatever, it is so brave to, I mean, full respect to anyone who comes before anyone and says, I did this. This was not okay and I need help. And that's something, I definitely want to like, live up and like have you be proud of me and my progress. But I also know that when I'm fully honest, that's so much more powerful than just my ego needing that like sense of pride, And so my heart goes out to anybody who struggles with saying, I'm so depressed, I'm so low, feeling, that pathetic feeling of like, I can't ask for help. It's so hard. Like, I've been there, and that's so beautiful and powerful.
And there's a way through it. Like, I don't care what has happened or what you've done. There's always a way to digest the experience and turn it into gold and turn it into light, always. And it's not bullshit. It's what we're here to do. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I always say, I mean, I always say redemption is possible for anybody, 100%. So no matter what, yeah. And if you don't think you're able to be redeemed, that's another ego story that you're living.
Something to work through. Yeah, and the level of darkness we go through is equivalent to the light we carry inside of us. So those dark experiences are calling forth our
Yeah.
light. And once we see, oh my God, I was able to overcome this health condition, this emotional trauma, my past, this pattern that I didn't think I could ever change, I changed it. Who do I know myself to be now that I did what I thought I couldn't? Who am I?
Yeah. Oh, I love that because I completely agree. I feel like I see situations with new eyes. I know I came to you, about a month or two ago, and I was like, my friend is really struggling with this big issue. Can you help her? And I was, I mean, the situation did freak me out at the time, but I texted her. I was like, I'm so excited for you because you're just being called to something bigger. Like, do you have any idea, like, what you're being called to? Because if you're just living your life in the mundane and you're not feeling those deep emotions, that's not where you feel that higher calling. You feel the higher calling when you go into the darkness. And so I was like, you're lucky that your situation is so big that it's pushing you to get help because portal to your new life. Not everyone has that like push, and so it's so important to I guess answer that call when you feel it.
I love that. And that's where your push was, that relationship that really broke your heart. It like toppled you into darkness. So that's what we're doing with this work, is we are creating more light out of those experiences, because that's what those experiences are asking for us, is to shine our light of consciousness upon them and transform them. Because when the light shines on anything, it changes what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think too, something I always say, it's Newton's third law of energy, every action has its equal opposite reaction. And I actually don't know that quote from him. I know it from Hamilton, if anyone's seen my favorite musical, but it's so true. Every situation in my life I can look at, I see that bigger reason. And so if you're like, man, this sucks, this is the worst I've ever felt, it's like, congratulations, you're going to feel amazing because of this.
That is big picture. And that's how I've seen you transform over the years, is you don't get as lost in your life. You go to the bigger picture. And that's what that is wait a minute, what's the opportunity here? Wait a minute, what is this really doing for my life? Wait a minute, what's the long-term outcome? Wait a minute, what is this calling forth in me? Instead of, this is happening to me, it's so bad, it's so different to what my plan was. Oh no, oh no. You shift the way you view life, and then life is different.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And something too I want to add to that is like giving me that big picture perspective is so that's key. But I also love how one time we had a session scheduled. This was March 19th. I remember this because this was my dad's birthday. And I wanted to talk to you about something specific. And then like 5 minutes before you called me, I got a text that I was about to lose my job. And so it shifted the conversation of how we were going to talk. And we cleared that we kind of dealt with that before we went to the other thing I originally wanted to talk about. And you helped me look at that big picture. But I was like, I just really want to be sad about this. And I want to sit in that for a bit and then go to big picture. And you're like, yeah, like, absolutely. And that's what I love, is how there's the balance of both. Like, this sucks, but also like, here's something really beautiful. And it's all a flow. It's not just forcing your perspective from one thing to another. It's like, let's work through this. Like, yeah, be sad if you need to. And I remember I was like, I just can't think about it right now. I need to think about something else because it's so sad. And just because that job was very meaningful to me. And so that's what I appreciate too, is that there's room to be sad and there's room to be grieving or angry or whatever, but then it's moving that into that bigger picture. It's not just like, oh, you're sad, that sucks. Like, here's something else over here, which I feel like is a lot of healers do that. And it's
let's not be human. Let's not be human. Hang on, fluff, fluff, fluff.
Yeah. And that's so disappointing to see. Because I remember I had a family member, I don't want to call this person by name. I had a family member tell me when I was young, I was in middle school and I was fighting with my friend and I was really angry at her. And I had a family member tell me, um, because Jesus was never angry, you can't be angry. You just need to make up with her. And I remember feeling like, well, yeah, we need to make things right. I just want to be angry for a little bit. And by the way, it's not true. Jesus was definitely angry. He was a human. Um, and so, yeah, I feel like a lot of spiritual teachers tend to say like, we need to be light. We need to be happy, good vibes, positive vibes. And I remember I heard someone talk about this war that was happening in their country, and they're like heartbroken, and they were sharing this with this group meditation I was in, and this teacher got angry at them for sharing this and was like, you're bringing the vibe down, this is not good. And we're like, well, I think everyone kind of agreed, and I was over here like, no, that this is a reality for this, like this person. We need to support this person and not just say that it's a negative thing, you know. And so I appreciate that in you as well.
Yeah, that's the digesting of the emotion, right? Like the digesting of life experience instead of that toxicity of, no, I need to be happy, I need to be good, positive vibes only, like I'm spiritual because of this. Spirituality doesn't exclude the human experience.
Mm-hmm.
The universe is inclusive, not exclusive.
Yeah, that's something you tell me all the time. You're like, it's okay to be human. Just be human. It's fine.
That's what you came here for.
Came here for that human experience. So
well, and I think about like the Hindu gods and how the goddess Kali, Kali, you know all about her. I mean, you're an Aries girl, so Kali is in you. But it's finding the sacredness. I feel like all the gods in the those religions, is it Hindu? Is that what it's called? Okay, I'm not religious at all, but I connect with certain entities, not entities, but ascended masters and whatnot. So Kali is the expression of anger and fierceness, and all of our emotions expressed and felt and moved are sacred.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And my roommate for 2 years and my best friend Amelia, shout out if you're watching this.
Girl.
She's she's not a practicing Hindu, but she comes from a Hindu family. She's from India, and she has shared with me a lot about the religion. And I remember always thinking like, oh my gosh, there's like drama between these gods. They're somewhat human, and I love this because they represent us. Like I relate to these stories, and when she tells me these stories too, she gets so passionate. She gets so passionate about Kali, which I love. And she is a Libra. So I don't know if that, but you know, I think a lot of women connect to her.
Yes.
But yeah, so and I love that about the Hindu gods and goddesses is there is that human component to them. And that's
it's like they're giving us permission.
Yeah. And they're like, look to us and our example.
Yeah, we're everything. We're inclusive. We're all of it. And we're learning how to use it sacredly. So it's about learning how to use your experiences and your emotions sacredly.
Yeah, absolutely. And who knew that anger could be sacred, but it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh no, it draws boundaries, it releases, it moves things, it alerts you to so much. It's powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, gorgeous. That was amazing. And I so appreciate you spending so much more time with me than we planned.
Oh my gosh, anything for you. I will go to war for you and tell people about how amazing you are.
Thank you so much. Really, your questions and what you brought up was exactly what I wanted, because I can't always put this stuff into words, but you did it really well.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like this is perfect because I'm always telling people about you, telling people you need to talk to someone or find someone. So this is like perfect.
Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a shout out for the webinar, Transforming Your Struggle into Bliss. We're going to learn how to digest past and current emotions It's probably going to be a 3-part webinar, honestly, because we're not only going to learn how to digest the negative from the past and the now so it can move through, we're going to learn how to digest the positive, because positive emotions not fully experienced also become imprinted scars and wounds. And this happens through attachment. So when you experience something really good and you're like so excited, but there's a nervousness, that nervousness is usually telling you, I love this and I'm afraid it's going to be the only time I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have that feeling within you during positive experiences, you create an imprint, because the experience of joy or happiness doesn't get to be fully felt. So that's going to be part 2. And then part 3 is going to be bringing this all together and using it for alchemy. So you can let go of the old version of yourself, the ego idea of yourself, and move into the future version of yourself, the ideal self, the aligned self, in the life you really want to be in, because that's what we all deserve.
And I think with, everyone knows 2020 has been so transformative. So wouldn't it be amazing to just digest 2020 or whatever in our lives and then like spit it out something beautiful into 2021? Like that's the perfect way to end the year, I think.
Digesting 2020. I love it.
The name of like another webinar.
Yeah, that could be a whole one in itself.
Absolutely.
The webinar link is going to be below. It's going to be on December 20th, 2020. So in roughly a month from now. I don't have a time on it yet, but the time will be linked in the description below. And we're going to be doing more lives. I'll be doing lives on my Instagram, Beautiful Vandalism. And Kat, what is your handle on Instagram?
Oh, so my personal is I am Kat Lennon. And then I just created a new professional page for my Esteology, but it's not just that. It's going to be healing for the skin and the soul and all that. Just, it's going to go deeper. So, and that's Healing Touch by Kat.
Beautiful. Okay, go follow this beautiful creature on Instagram. And thank you again. Thank you again.
Thank you. I'm so honored.
Okay, I'm going to end the recording now. Kat and I are going to close up, and I'm sending lots of love to everyone on YouTube, and I will see you guys next time. Stop recording. Come on, Larissa, find it.
I have faith in you.